Rain hammers the downtown bus stop like bullets on concrete. An elderly white woman sits alone on the metal bench, her Chanel coat soaked through, designer shoes caked with mud. Tears stream down her weathered cheeks as dozens of commuters rush past, umbrellas up, eyes down, deaf to her quiet sobs. Then, 17-year-old Devin Carter stops. His sneakers are held together with duct tape. His jacket has patches on both elbows. But when he sees her clutching that faded photograph with trembling fingers, something in his chest pulls tight. "Ma'am, you okay?" She looks up through the rain, and for just a moment, something flickers across her face. Recognition? Fear? Hope? Devin extends his hand toward this stranger, this broken woman who seems so out of place in her expensive clothes and diamond earrings. He has no idea that this simple gesture will unravel a mystery 20 years in the making. What he doesn't know is that this woman holds the key to his future. What she doesn't know is that he holds the key to her past. 5:47 a.m. Devin's phone alarm screams like a fire drill, but he's already awake. Sleep is a luxury when you're calculating whether you can afford both breakfast and bus fare. The studio apartment feels smaller every day. One room serves as kitchen, living room, and his bedroom. His mother's mattress sits behind a curtain she hung 2 years ago, their version of privacy. The fridge hums like a dying animal, mostly empty except for generic cereal and milk that expired yesterday. Devin checks his phone. 3 missed calls from Rodriguez Auto Shop. Rent's due in 5 days. The number, 847s, burns in his mind like a brand. On the kitchen counter, next to unpaid bills stacked like accusations, sits his acceptance letter to State University. Still unopened. Still mocking him. The envelope might as well contain $1 million lottery ticket for all the good it does him. His mother, Angie Carter, left 2 hours ago for her first job, cleaning office buildings downtown. She'll be home at 3 p.m. for exactly 90 minutes before heading to her second job at the grocery store, then catering on weekends. 3 jobs to afford a life that barely qualifies as living. Devin showers in 30 seconds, not because he's in a hurry, but because the hot water tank gave up last month. The landlord keeps promising to fix it. Devin keeps pretending to believe him. Roosevelt High School hits him like a slap of reality. In the hallways, kids carry backpacks worth more than Devin's monthly food budget. They complain about slow Wi-Fi while Devin rationed his phone data like medicine. They debate which college to attend while Devin debates whether college is even possible. "Devin!" Mrs. Peterson, his guidance counselor, waves him over. She's kind but exhausted, trying to save kids who can't afford to be saved. "About that scholarship application essay?" "I'm working on it," he says. The prompt haunts him. Describe someone who inspires you and explain how they've shaped your character. How do you write about inspiration when you're drowning? How do you explain that your biggest inspiration is your mother's refusal to give up, even when giving up would be easier? In AP Chemistry, Devin sits next to Jessica, whose family owns 3 houses. She mentions their Hamptons place casually, like everyone has a summer home. Devin nods and calculates whether he can afford lunch today. The answer is no. But his mind works differently with equations, with problems that have definite solutions. Chemistry makes sense. Molecules don't care if you're poor. Elements follow rules regardless of your zip code. "Carter," Mr. Williams calls out, "balance this equation." Devin stands, walks to the board. The problem is complex, multi-step synthesis that requires understanding reaction mechanisms. His classmates struggle with it for homework. Devin solves it in 47 seconds. The class goes quiet. Jessica stares. Even Williams looks impressed. "How'd you do that so fast?" Devin shrugs. "It's just logical." What he doesn't say: when your life is chaos, you cling to anything that makes sense. After school, Rodriguez Auto Shop. The smell of motor oil and metal shavings feels like home. Here, Devin's hands know exactly what to do. Engines don't judge. They either work or they don't. Kids got magic fingers, Rodriguez tells customers, watching Devin diagnose a transmission problem in minutes. Ever think about engineering school? Devin's smile doesn't reach his eyes. Thinking about it and affording it lives in different universes. His phone buzzes. Mom texting from her grocery store job. Found marked down chicken. Dinner tonight. Devin's chest tightens. She's excited about discount meat that's probably close to spoiling. This is what passes for good news in their world. Evening. Walking home through neighborhoods that get nicer with every block he can't afford to live in. He stops at Mrs. Monroe's apartment building. Same broken elevator, same flickering lights as his own place. Devin! She struggles with grocery bags. At 74, 3 flights of stairs might as well be Mount Everest. He takes her bags without being asked. Always does. You're a good boy, she says in broken English, pressing a crumpled $5 bill into his palm. For college. His throat closes. Mrs. Monroe, I can't. You take. My grandson is in Beijing. He is a doctor now. It started with $5 too. Devin accepts the money because refusing would hurt her feelings. $5. In a world where college costs $60,000 a year, Mrs. Monroe believes $5 matters. Maybe it does. Maybe believing it matters is what matters. Late night. Kitchen table becomes homework headquarters. Devin spreads textbooks around him like shields against reality. Calculus problems, chemistry labs, English essays, all completed under the light of a lamp his mother bought at Goodwill. The scholarship essay stares at him from his laptop screen. Cursor blinking, mocking. Describe someone who inspires you. He types, my mother works 3 jobs, so I can dream about one. Deletes it. Too honest. My neighbor believes in my future even when I don't. Deletes it. Too sad. Outside, his mother's footsteps echo in the hallway. Exhausted, but still climbing. Still fighting. Still believing tomorrow might be different. Devin closes the laptop. Some stories are too big for scholarship essays. Some dreams are too fragile for reality. But tomorrow, he'll try again. Because that's what you do when giving up isn't an option. That's what his mother taught him. That's what keeps him going. One impossible day at a time. Thursday afternoon hits the city like a hammer. October rain turns everything gray and urgent, the kind of weather that makes people move faster, heads down, thinking only about getting home dry. Devin finishes his shift at Rodriguez's early. The shop's ancient heating system finally gave up, turning the garage into an icebox. Rodriguez sends everyone home rather than watch them freeze to death over carburetors. See you tomorrow, kid. Assuming we don't all turn into popsicles. Devin pulls his thin jacket tighter. The bus ride downtown takes 43 minutes on a good day. In this weather, who knows? But the route home is predictable, reliable, unlike everything else in his life. That's when he sees her. The woman sits alone at the downtown bus stop like she's been abandoned by the world. Everything about her screams money. The kind of money that builds wings on hospital buildings and gets your name on university libraries. Her coat probably costs more than Devin's family makes in 6 months, but she's crying like her heart is being ripped out with rusty pliers. Eleanor Whitmore, though Devin doesn't know her name yet, clutches something in her trembling hands. A photograph, worn soft at the edges from years of handling. Her silver hair, usually styled to perfection, hangs in wet ropes around her face. Commuters flood past her like water around a stone. A businessman in a $3,000 suit glances her way, checks his Rolex, and hurries on. Time is money, and this woman's pain isn't his problem. A group of college students laughs loudly, stepping around her like she's street furniture. One girl starts to look concerned, but her friends pull her along. Come on, Sarah, we'll miss happy hour. A mother with 2 small children notices Eleanor's distress. For a moment, she slows down, maternal instincts kicking in. But her kids are getting soaked, and one starts to whine. The mother shoots Eleanor a sympathetic look and keeps walking. Devin stands across the street, waiting for his own bus. Something about this woman's crying reaches into his chest and squeezes. It's not just sadness. It's the kind of grief that hollows you out from the inside, the kind that leaves you empty and echoing. He recognizes it because he's felt it, watching his mother collapse after 16-hour days, listening to her cry in the shower when she thinks he can't hear. The weight of carrying a family on shoulders too young and too tired. Rain intensifies, turning the street into a river. Eleanor's expensive coat offers little protection now. She looks around desperately, like she's searching for someone who promised to come but never showed up. Her phone, latest iPhone model, the kind Devin sees in store windows but never touches, lies cracked on the concrete beside her, apparently dropped and forgotten in her distress. A security guard approaches, professional but firm. His uniform is dry thanks to the nearby building's overhang. "Ma'am, you can't stay here. The business district clears at 5 o'clock. City ordinance." Eleanor looks up, confusion clouding her features. For a moment, she seems lost in time and space, like she's forgotten where she is or how she got there. "I'm waiting for..." Her voice trails off. She stares at the photograph in her hands. "I thought someone would..." The guard's expression softens slightly. He's probably seen everything in 20 years of downtown security, but wealthy old ladies crying in the rain still gets to him. "You got someone to call? Family, maybe?" Eleanor gestures helplessly at the destroyed phone. "I don't... The numbers are in there. I can't remember them without..." She's from a generation that stored phone numbers in devices, not memory. Without the phone, she's cut off from everyone she knows. "Look, lady, I'm sorry, but I have rules. Building management doesn't want liability issues." Devin's bus arrives with a mechanical wheeze and the hiss of hydraulic brakes. The doors fold open like an invitation to escape this scene, this problem that isn't his to solve. Other passengers board quickly, eager to escape the weather. The driver, a tired woman in her 50s who's probably seen enough human drama for 10 lifetimes, looks at Devin expectantly. "You getting on or what? I have a schedule to keep." Devin's foot moves toward the bus step. The warmth inside calls to him. 43 minutes of relative comfort, then home to whatever discount dinner his mother managed to find, but he can't move. Something about this woman. The way she holds that photograph like it's a lifeline. The confusion in her eyes. The expensive clothes that can't protect her from this kind of pain. Reminds him of his grandmother before she died. The same lost expression. The same need for human kindness in a world that's forgotten how to provide it. The bus doors start to close. Devin steps back onto the sidewalk. "Sorry," he calls to the driver. "I forgot something." The bus pulls away in a cloud of diesel exhaust, taking his easy escape with it. Now he's stranded downtown in the rain with a crying stranger who probably has more money in her purse than his family sees in a year. But sometimes the right choice isn't the smart choice. Sometimes it's just the human choice. And what Devin's about to discover will prove that the most impossible coincidences are sometimes just destiny wearing a disguise. Devin crosses the street like he's walking toward his own execution. Rain soaks through his jacket in seconds. His sneakers squelch against wet pavement, each step taking him further from the smart choice and closer to something that feels inevitable. "Ma'am?" His voice cuts through the sound of traffic and rainfall, gentle, unthreatening. "The way you talk to a frightened animal." Eleanor Whitmore looks up from her photograph. Her eyes are steel blue, sharp even through tears. For just a moment, so brief, Devin almost misses it, something flickers across her face. Not just surprised at his kindness, recognition. Like she's seen those eyes before. She struggles with the admission. "I'm lost." The words seem to cost her everything. This is a woman who's never been lost in her life, who's had assistants and drivers and people whose entire job is making sure she always knows exactly where she is. Devin kneels beside the broken phone, rain drumming against his back. The screen looks like a spider web of cracks, water seeping into the electronics. Dead as roadkill. This isn't going to work anymore. He stands, rainwater dripping from his hood. Where do you need to go? St. Mary's Cemetery. Her voice breaks on the words. Section K, plot 247. But it's been so long since I usually have someone drive me. Devin knows St. Mary's. 15 minutes by bus on a good day. But the buses stop running to that area after 6 p.m., and it's already past 5. In weather like this, getting there becomes an expedition. Let me call you a cab. He pulls out his phone, 3 generations old, screen cracked but functional. His thumb hovers over the taxi app he's never actually used because he's never been able to afford it. I don't have money. Eleanor's voice cracks like breaking glass. My purse. Someone took it while I was sitting here crying. Credit cards, cash, everything. Devin's chest tightens. He opens his banking app. Balance, $37.23. Rent due in 5 days. Groceries needed tonight. His mother's catering job got canceled, so this $37 is all they have until his next paycheck. A cab to St. Mary's Cemetery costs $32 in good weather. In this rain, with surge pricing, it could hit $40. He makes the call anyway. Yellow cab? I need a pickup at 5th and Market going to St. Mary's Cemetery. That'll be about $35 with the weather surcharge. Cash or card? Cash. While they wait, Eleanor clutches that photograph tighter. Devin catches glimpses of it. A young man in military uniform, smiling like he owns the world. The edges are soft from years of handling, the colors faded, but the love is still sharp. Your son? Eleanor nods, fresh tears mixing with rainwater. Today would have been his 38th birthday. Her voice is barely a whisper. He died when he was 18. Afghanistan. The words hit Devin like a physical blow. His own father died in Iraq when Devin was 7. Different wars, the same hole torn in the universe. Same emptiness that never quite heals. I'm sorry. It's inadequate. All condolences are inadequate. But it's real, and Eleanor seems to hear that reality. Michael James Whitmore. She says the name like a prayer. He wanted to be an engineer. Like you, maybe. Smart hands, kind heart. Devin doesn't know how she knows about his hands, his heart. But there's something in her voice. Recognition. Connection. Like puzzle pieces clicking into place. I come every year. Same day, same time. 20 years now. Eleanor looks directly at him for the first time. But this year, I got confused, took the wrong bus route, and then the rain started and my phone broke and... She gestures helplessly at the chaos of her afternoon. Everyone just walked past, like I was invisible. The taxi arrives, a yellow blur through the downpour. Devin opens the door, helps Eleanor inside. Her hand is cold, fragile, but her grip is surprisingly strong. St. Mary's Cemetery, Section K, he tells the driver. $35, the driver confirms. Devin hands over the money. Every bill in his wallet. Now he's got $2.23 to his name and no way to get home except walking. 47 minutes in this rain. His mother will worry. His phone battery is at 12%. But as the taxi pulls away, Eleanor's face pressed against the window, something happens. She smiles. Not happiness. She's going to visit her dead son's grave, but gratitude, relief. The knowledge that kindness still exists in a world that had forgotten her. Devin stands alone at the bus stop, rain soaking him to the bone. His last bus home left 10 minutes ago. His feet are already numb with cold. That's when he sees it. Something white against the dark pavement, half hidden under the bench where Eleanor was sitting. A business card, soggy and nearly destroyed by the rain. Devon picks it up, squinting at the embossed lettering that's barely visible through water damage. Whitmore Foundation. The name tickles something in his memory, but he can't place it. He pockets the card and starts the long walk home. What Devon doesn't know, what he can't possibly know, is that Eleanor Whitmore sits in that taxi, staring at her reflection in the rain-streaked window, thinking about a photograph she keeps in her office safe. A picture of her son Michael with his unit in Afghanistan. Specifically, a picture of Michael with his arm around a young medic named Sergeant James Carter. A medic who had the same eyes as the boy who just spent his last $35 to get her to her son's grave. The same gentle expression, the same instinct to help strangers, the same willingness to sacrifice for others. Eleanor pulls out a second photograph from her coat pocket, one Devon didn't see. It shows two soldiers laughing together, her son Michael and a young black man in desert fatigues. The resemblance is impossible to ignore. 20 years after her son died, 20 years after she lost everything that mattered, Eleanor Whitmore just met the son of the man who tried to save Michael's life. And she has no idea. Yet. But tomorrow, when her private investigator calls with the quarterly report on her search for the families of Michael's unit, she'll learn something that will change both their worlds forever. The universe has a twisted sense of timing. Sometimes the people you're looking for find you first. Friday morning hits Devon like a punishment. He drags himself to Roosevelt High looking like he wrestled with a hurricane and lost. His jacket is still damp from last night's 47-minute walk home through the rain. His sneakers squelch with every step, leaving wet footprints down the hallway. Mrs. Peterson intercepts him at his locker, concern written across her face. "Devon, honey, you look terrible. Is everything okay at home?" He forces a smile that doesn't reach his eyes. "Just tired, Mrs. Peterson. Long night." What he doesn't say, he got home past 8 p.m., soaked to the bone, to find his mother heating canned soup on their ancient stove. She took one look at him and knew something was wrong. "Baby, what happened? You're freezing." "Helped someone, missed the bus." She wrapped him in every blanket they owned, made him drink the soup even though he insisted she should eat it. 3 jobs, and she still put his needs first. Now, 12 hours later, Devon's stomach growls like an angry dog. That $35 was supposed to buy lunch for the week. Instead, it bought a taxi ride for a stranger. No regrets, though. Some things matter more than food. In AP Chemistry, his focus drifts. He keeps thinking about Eleanor's tears, the photograph of her son, the way she said his name like a prayer. Something about the whole encounter feels unfinished, like an equation missing its final variable. After school, at Rodriguez's shop, Devon's phone rings. Unknown number. "Hello? Devon, this is Eleanor Whitmore. From yesterday?" His hands pause on the engine he's rebuilding. In daylight, removed from the rain and drama, her voice sounds different. Stronger, more assured, like the woman who runs boardrooms instead of crying at bus stops. "Oh. Hi, Mrs. Whitmore, you okay? Did you make it to the cemetery?" "Because of you, yes." Her voice carries warmth now, gratitude mixed with something else. "I spent 3 hours with my boy. For the first time in years, I wasn't rushed and wasn't worried about schedules. Just present." Devon can hear the smile in her voice. "I wanted to thank you properly." "Are you free this evening? There's a cafe on 5th Street, Rosario's. 7 o'clock? Devon looks at his grease-stained hands, his reflection in the shop window. A woman like Eleanor Whitmore doesn't have coffee with kids like him. Different worlds, different languages. "You don't need to thank me, Mrs. Whitmore. Please. It would mean a lot to me." Something in her tone, vulnerability beneath the confidence, makes him agree. That evening, Rosario's cafe feels like stepping into another universe. Eleanor sits in a corner booth, transformed from yesterday's broken woman into someone who clearly belongs in expensive restaurants and charity galas. Her silver hair is perfectly styled. Her clothing screams understated elegance, the kind of expensive that doesn't need labels. She stands when Devon enters, extending a manicured hand like they're equals. "You clean up nice," Devon says, immediately regretting how informal it sounds. Eleanor laughs, the first genuine laughter he's heard from her. "Yesterday wasn't my best day. Thank you for looking past that." Over coffee, Eleanor insists on paying, despite Devon's protests. She studies him with an intensity that makes him squirm. "Tell me about yourself, Devon. Your family, your dreams." He shares carefully. School, work, hopes for college that feel more impossible every day. Eleanor listens like every word matters, like she's filing away details for some important test. "Your parents must be incredibly proud." "Just my mom. Dad died in Iraq when I was 7. Something shifts in Eleanor's expression. Pain flickers across her features, followed by something that looks almost like recognition. "I'm sorry. Military families. We carry a special kind of grief." When they part ways an hour later, Eleanor tries to press a folded check into his hands. "For the taxi, and for your kindness." Devon steps back like she's offering him a live snake. "I can't take that." "Please, it's nothing to me, and—" "It's not about the money." Devon's voice is firm but respectful. "You needed help. That's what people do for each other. That's what my mom taught me." Eleanor studies him for a long moment, then carefully folds the check and returns it to her purse. Instead, she pulls out a pristine business card, nothing like the water-damaged one from yesterday. "If you ever need anything at all." She presses it into his palm, her fingers lingering for just a moment. "Promise me you'll call." Devon glances at the card. Whitmore Foundation, Eleanor Whitmore Chairman. The name still tickles his memory, but he can't place it. "I promise." As they part ways, Eleanor pauses at her car, a sleek black sedan with a driver waiting patiently. "Devon, your father would be proud of the man you're becoming." The words hit him like a physical blow. She drives away before he can respond, leaving him standing on the sidewalk with questions buzzing in his head like angry wasps. How could she possibly know anything about his father? Sunday evening, 7 p.m., Rosario's Cafe. Eleanor sits in the same corner booth, but everything feels different now. Her hands shake as she lifts her coffee cup. Her eyes dart to the door every few seconds, like she's expecting someone else to walk in and stop what she's about to do. Devon slides into the booth across from her, studying her face. Yesterday's confident philanthropist has been replaced by someone who looks like she's about to confess to murder. "You said it was urgent?" Eleanor reaches into her purse with trembling fingers and withdraws a manila folder, worn at the edges like it's been handled 1,000 times. She places it on the table between them, but doesn't open it yet. "Devon, what I'm about to tell you, it's going to sound impossible." She opens the folder. Inside are newspaper clippings, official military documents, photographs. Devon's heart stops. He recognizes some of the faces immediately. His father in dress uniform, his mother 20 years younger, himself as a gap-toothed 7-year-old. His blood turns to ice water. "How the hell do you have pictures of my family?" Eleanor's hands tremble as she sorts through the papers with the care of someone handling explosives. "October 15th, 2003, Camp Liberty, Iraq." Her voice cracks on every word. "Captain Michael Whitmore's convoy was ambushed outside Fallujah. 3 soldiers died that day." Devon's throat constricts. He knows this story. His mother told it to him years ago. Through tears, she thought he was too young to understand. "My son was one of them." Eleanor pulls out an official military report, pages yellowed with age and bureaucratic indifference. Devon's father's name is highlighted in several places like evidence in a criminal trial. But 2 soldiers survived because of a medic who stayed behind under enemy fire. A medic who kept them alive for 47 minutes until rescue helicopters arrived. Eleanor looks up, her eyes swimming with tears. Sergeant James Carter. The cafe seems to tilt on its axis. Devon grips the table edge to keep from falling. That's impossible. Eleanor pulls out another document, an official commendation report, stamped and signed by people whose names end up in history books. Your father saved those 2 men. Corporal Martinez took shrapnel to the chest. Private Thompson had a severed artery in his leg. Without James Carter's medical intervention, they would have died in that ditch. Devon stares at documents that paint his father as a hero instead of just another casualty. His mother never knew. The Army never told them. James Carter died 6 months later in a different engagement, and somehow his heroism got buried in military bureaucracy. Why are you telling me this now? Eleanor reaches across the table and covers his hand with hers. Her fingers are ice cold. Because 3 days ago, I hired a private investigator to find the families of the men who served with Michael. I wanted to honor them, to finally thank them. Tears flow freely now, 20 years of grief spilling onto the table. The investigator gave me a file with your name, your address, your photograph. She pulls out a surveillance photo. Devon walking to school, taken from across the street. Professional quality. Expensive. When I saw you at that bus stop, when you stopped to help me, Eleanor's voice breaks completely. I thought I was hallucinating. Devon's mind reels like a broken machine. You knew who I was? Not immediately. But when you told me your name, when I saw your kindness, the way you refused my money? Eleanor pulls out another photograph, this one faded and creased from years of handling. 2 young soldiers with their arms around each other's shoulders, both laughing, both alive, both impossibly young, Michael Whitmore and James Carter, best friends. Devon's father looks exactly like Devon does now. Same eyes, same expression when helping others, same instinct to put strangers before himself. They served together for 8 months before that final mission, Eleanor whispers. Your father saved my son's life twice before the day they both died. Michael wrote about him in every letter home, called him the best man I've ever known. The photograph blurs as Devon's eyes fill. His father, who died when Devon was 7, who became just a folded flag and fading memories, was best friends with this woman's son. More than that, they died together. The investigator said you've been accepted to State University, but can't afford to go. Devon nods, not trusting his voice. Eleanor closes the folder gently, like she's putting her son to bed. Devon, your father didn't just save 2 strangers that day. He saved the 2 men my son cared about most in the world. Michael's last words, according to the survivors, were about James Carter's courage. She pulls out one final document, a handwritten letter on military stationery, the ink faded but still legible. Michael wrote this the night before he died. He never got to send it. Devon reads with shaking hands. Mom, if something happens to me, I need you to find Sergeant James Carter's family. He's got a little boy back home, Devon, who's going to grow up thinking his dad was just another soldier. But James Carter is the kind of man who runs toward danger to save others. His son should know that. His son should know his father was a hero. The weight of 20 years crashes down on Devon like a building collapse. His random act of kindness wasn't random at all. Eleanor's tears at the bus stop weren't just for her son. They were for his father, too, for a friendship that death couldn't break, for a debt she'd spent 2 decades trying to repay. What does this mean? Eleanor smiles through her tears, and for the first time since Devon met her, she looks peaceful. It means, Devon Carter, that your father's heroism has been waiting 20 years to come home. She reaches into her purse one more time, and it means his best friend's mother has something to give you. Eleanor pulls out a leather portfolio, the kind that costs more than Devon's family makes in a month. Her hands have stopped shaking now. This is familiar territory for her. Business, negotiations, changing lives with the stroke of a pen. The Michael J. Whitmore Memorial Scholarship typically awards $25,000 per year to exceptional students. She slides a document across the table. But this year, we're creating something new. Devin stares at the official letterhead so crisp it practically crinkles with authority. The James Carter Memorial Fellowship. His father's name printed in elegant font beneath the Whitmore Foundation logo. Full tuition, room and board, plus a $2,500 monthly stipend for 4 years at any accredited university. Eleanor's voice grows stronger with each word. But that's just the foundation. She pulls out her phone, the latest iPhone, the kind Devin has only seen in commercials, and scrolls through contacts like she's ordering pizza instead of changing someone's entire future. Devin, what do you want to study? Mechanical engineering. Maybe automotive design. The words feel impossibly small against the magnitude of what's happening. Eleanor dials a number without hesitation. David? It's Eleanor Whitmore. Remember that conversation we had about expanding your internship program? A pause. I have someone extraordinary I want you to meet. She hands Devin the phone. His palms are sweating so badly he almost drops it. This is David Brooks, CEO of Innovative Motors. Devin's mouth goes desert dry. Innovative Motors, the electric vehicle company that's revolutionizing the auto industry. The company whose breakthrough battery technology Devin reads about obsessively in trade magazines he can't afford to buy. Sir, Eleanor tells me you're the son of a genuine American hero. David's voice is warm, confident, the sound of a man who changes industries before breakfast. She also tells me you work on cars, that you have real mechanical intuition. Devin's voice comes out like a croak. I work at an auto shop. Basic stuff. Nothing's basic when you understand how things work, son. We're always looking for young engineers with passion and integrity. How would you like to spend your summers interning with our advanced design team? The phone feels like it weighs 1,000 pounds. Internships at Innovative Motors are legendary. Most lead to full-time positions starting at 6 figures. The kind of money that buys houses instead of renting apartments where the heat doesn't work. Yes, sir. That would be incredible. Outstanding. Eleanor will send me your information. Welcome to the Innovative Motors family, Devin. When the call ends, Eleanor is smiling wider than Devin's seen since they met. The fellowship also includes graduate school funding if you choose, mentorship connections in your field, and guaranteed interviews with any of our 57 partner companies upon graduation. Devin's brain struggles to process this. Yesterday, he was calculating whether he could afford lunch. Today, someone is handing him a complete life transformation wrapped in legal documents. Mrs. Whitmore, this is too much. I can't. Eleanor leans forward, her expression suddenly fierce. Devin, your father died serving his country. My son died beside him. For 20 years, I've honored Michael's memory by helping young people achieve their dreams. Her voice cracks slightly. But I could never honor your father's sacrifice because I didn't know his family existed. She reaches into her purse again and pulls out a small velvet box, worn smooth by decades of handling. This was Michael's. His unit insignia from Afghanistan. She opens it, revealing a military pin polished to mirror brightness. The day he died, your father was wearing one just like it. They were brothers. Devin accepts the box with shaking hands. The metal feels warm, like it's been waiting for him. But I can't accept a fellowship created just for me. That wouldn't be right. Eleanor laughs, genuine, joyful laughter that transforms her entire face. Oh, you stubborn, beautiful boy, just like your father. She pulls out another document, this one thick with legal language and official seals. The James Carter Memorial Fellowship will be awarded annually to one student who demonstrates both academic excellence and extraordinary character. You're not the only recipient, Devin. You're the first. Devin scans the paperwork. Legal documents establishing an endowment worth $12 million. Enough to support students like him for generations. There's one condition. Devin looks up, suddenly wary. Every recipient must commit to mentoring younger students in their community. Your father's legacy isn't about one person succeeding. It's about lifting others up. Eleanor's eyes shine with purpose. Character isn't just doing the right thing once. It's creating a pattern of goodness that spreads. Devin thinks about Mrs. Monroe pressing $5 into his palm for college, about helping her carry groceries up 3 flights of stairs, about stopping for a crying stranger in the rain because it was the human thing to do. When would this start? Tomorrow, if you want. I've already spoken with State University's admissions office. Your acceptance is confirmed and your first semester is fully funded. Classes start in 3 weeks. Devin's phone buzzes, a text from his mother. Working late tonight. Leftover pizza in fridge. Love you more than words. He stares at the message, then at Eleanor, then at these documents that represent not just his future, but a future he never dared imagine. My mom, she needs to know. About Dad. About what he did. About all of this. Of course. In fact, I'd very much like to meet her. There are stories about your father that got lost in military paperwork. Hero stories that she deserves to hear. Devin carefully stacks the papers, his mind racing ahead to phone calls, conversations, a life that suddenly has horizons instead of walls. Mrs. Whitmore, why were you really crying at that bus stop? Eleanor considers this, her expression soft with memory. Because I go to Michael's grave every year on his birthday, and every year I talk to him about the scholarship recipients, about the good we're doing in his name. But this year felt different. She pauses. This year I was crying because after 20 years of searching, I still hadn't found James Carter's family. I felt like I'd failed Michael's final request. She reaches across the table and squeezes Devin's hand. I wasn't alone at all. I just didn't know it yet. 6 months later, Devin Carter's transformation is visible from space. State University, Engineering Building, 3:17 p.m. Devin sits in the front row of advanced thermodynamics, typing notes on a laptop that doesn't require duct tape to stay functional. But the real difference isn't the equipment. It's the confidence in his voice when he raises his hand. Professor, wouldn't the efficiency increase if we modified the heat exchanger design? Dr. Martinez pauses mid-lecture, impressed. Excellent point, Mr. Carter. You're thinking like an engineer. After class, Devin doesn't rush to catch buses or clock in at minimum wage jobs. Instead, he walks to the library's private study rooms, the ones reserved for fellowship recipients, where 3 high school students wait for him every Tuesday and Thursday. Marcus Johnson, 17. Aisha Williams, 16. Tommy Rodriguez, 17. All from Roosevelt High. All from neighborhoods where college feels like a fairy tale. Okay. Who can tell me what happens when we increase voltage in this circuit? Devin asks, pointing to the small electric motor they've built from scratch. Tommy, who was failing physics 6 months ago, grins as he adjusts the power supply. More current flows, the motor spins faster, but we risk burning out the coils if we go too high. Perfect. And why does that matter for real-world applications? Aisha jumps in. Because engineering isn't just about making things work. It's about making them work safely, efficiently, and affordably. Devin smiles. These aren't just study sessions. They're transformation chambers. Word has spread through Roosevelt High. What started as 3 struggling students has grown to 12. Mrs. Peterson provides classroom space on weekends, amazed at the results. Mr. Carter, she told him last month, whatever you're doing, don't stop. These kids are different now. They believe in themselves. Cut to Innovative Motors Headquarters, Palo Alto. Devin, wearing a crisp internship polo with Advanced Design Team embroidered on the chest, presents his summer project to a room full of senior engineers. Traditional EV battery cooling systems waste 18% of total efficiency through heat dissipation, Devin explains, his PowerPoint displaying complex thermal dynamics charts. My design reduces that to 11% using passive thermal management and adaptive airflow. David Brooks sits in the back row, nodding approvingly. After the presentation, he pulls Devin aside. We're offering you a position after graduation, full-time research and development division. Starting salary, $87,000. He pauses. Think about it. Devin thinks about his mother's 3 jobs, their old apartment with broken heat, the nights they ate cereal for dinner. $87,000 would solve every problem they've ever had. Cut to a different apartment entirely. Bigger, brighter, in a neighborhood where sirens aren't the primary soundtrack. Angie Carter sits at a proper kitchen table, not a card table from Goodwill, reviewing coursework for her business administration degree. The James Carter Fellowship included educational support for military families. While Devin studies engineering, his mother is finally pursuing the college degree she abandoned when she got pregnant at 19. Baby, you don't have to study every night because of me, Devin says, watching her highlight textbook passages. Angie looks up from her marketing coursework. I'm not doing this because of you. I'm doing this because of me. Because your father would want me to build something, not just survive. She gestures to the wall where 2 framed photos hang side by side. James Carter in dress uniform, and Devin receiving his fellowship award, standing next to Eleanor Whitmore. Besides, Angie grins, someone in this family needs to understand business when you become a famous engineer. Cut to St. Mary's Cemetery, Section K, Plot 247. Michael Whitmore's gravestone, polished granite reflecting autumn sunlight. Eleanor kneels, placing fresh flowers, but she's not alone. Devin stands nearby, along with Sarah Martinez and Robert Thompson, the 2 soldiers James Carter saved in Iraq, now in their 40s with families of their own. Sarah, a high school teacher in Phoenix, speaks quietly. Every morning I wake up, I think about Sergeant Carter. My 2 daughters exist because of him. Robert, a firefighter in Denver, adds, 20 years I've been looking for a way to say thank you. This fellowship program, it's perfect. They've established their own scholarship fund, smaller than Eleanor's but growing. The Desert Angels Memorial Fund honors all 3 men who died that October day, supporting children of first responders and military families. Cut to local news station, Channel 7 Studios. Devin sits across from reporter Linda Walsh, poised despite being 19 years old. The fellowship isn't about me getting opportunities, Devin explains. It's about creating a network where we lift each other up. My mentees will mentor others when they get to college. It multiplies. Behind him, a banner reads, Second Annual James Carter Day of Service. What started as one scholarship has become a community movement. Local businesses donate internships. College students return to tutor. Roosevelt High's graduation rate has increased 23% in 1 year. Cut to Devin's phone buzzing with a text from Detroit. Saw your story online. Started a mentoring group here. 15 kids signed up in the first week. Similar programs have been launched in 6 cities. The ripple effect keeps spreading. Eleanor Whitmore, watching from her foundation office, reviews applications for next year's James Carter Fellowship. 47 applicants, all exceptional, all deserving. The young man who once worried about lunch money now helps decide which struggling student gets a full ride to college. But the most powerful transformation is still coming. 2 years later, October rain falls on the same downtown bus stop where everything began. A young Latina woman, about 19, sits crying on the familiar metal bench. Her clothes are soaked through, her phone screen cracked and dark, her expression lost and desperate. Commuters hurry past with umbrellas up and eyes down, the same choreography of indifference that played out here 24 months ago. From across the street, Marcus Johnson, now a sophomore at MIT, home for fall break, watches her with familiar concern. He wears a nice jacket that doesn't leak. boots that keep his feet dry, but his eyes hold the same kindness Devon showed that rainy Thursday. Marcus crosses the street. "Miss, you okay?" The young woman, Carmen Valdez, looks up through tears. She's clutching something in her trembling hands, an acceptance letter to City College's nursing program and a financial aid rejection letter that might as well be a death sentence. "I got in," she whispers. "Full acceptance to the nursing program. It's everything I've wanted since my little brother got sick and I watched the nurses save his life. But," she gestures helplessly at the rejection letter, "I can't afford to go. My family can't help. I've been sitting here for 2 hours trying to figure out what to do." Marcus sits beside her on the wet bench, not caring about his jacket. 2 years ago, he was the kid getting mentored. Now he's the mentor. "What's your GPA?" 3.9. I work nights at a diner, volunteer at the children's hospital on weekends, tutor kids in my neighborhood. Carmen's voice breaks. "None of it matters if I can't afford tuition." Marcus pulls out his phone. Newer model now, but he still remembers when Devon called him a cab with money he couldn't afford. "Let me make some calls." Cut to Eleanor Whitmore's office 3 days later. Carmen sits across from Eleanor, documents spread between them like pieces of a puzzle finally coming together. Devon stands by the window, now 21, confident but still humble, wearing a suit that actually fits. "The Carmen Valdez Memorial Grant," Eleanor explains, "is our newest program. Full tuition for nursing students who demonstrate exceptional character and commitment to serving others." Carmen stares, overwhelmed. "I don't understand. Why me? You don't even know me." Devon turns from the window, his smile carrying echoes of that rainy day 2 years ago. "Because 2 years ago, someone helped me when I thought I had nowhere to turn. That person taught me that kindness isn't a one-time thing. It's a way of living." He gestures to Marcus, who grins and gives a small wave. "And because this guy learned the same lesson. Carmen, meet your mentor for the next 4 years. Later, outside the foundation building, the three of them stand together. Devon, Marcus, and Carmen. The rain has stopped, late afternoon sunlight breaking through gray clouds, like hope piercing despair. "Does it ever feel surreal?" Carmen asks. "Like the universe is connecting dots you can't see?" Devon considers this, thinking of his father's sacrifice, Eleanor's 20-year search, a random act of kindness that turned out to be destiny in disguise. "I don't think it's the universe," he says finally. "I think it's just what happens when people choose to see each other. Really see each other." Marcus nods. "And when they choose to act on what they see." As they walk away, the camera pulls back to show the bus stop. Empty now, but forever changed. A small bronze plaque has been mounted on the bench, in memory of those who serve others, and in honor of those who carry their legacy forward. The Whitmore Foundation. The cycle continues. Somewhere in the city, another person in need waits for someone to stop. Someone always stops. Devon's voice, warm and authentic, plays over a montage of images. The mentorship programs spreading across cities, scholarship recipients graduating, families celebrating transformations, communities growing stronger through acts of kindness. My father died when I was 7, but his legacy didn't end in that Iraqi desert. It traveled through 20 years of grief, through Eleanor's tears on a rainy day, through my decision to stop instead of walking past a stranger in need. Images flash, students mentoring younger kids, the bronze plaque at the bus stop, Carmen in nursing scrubs helping children, Marcus presenting his engineering project at MIT. Every single day, people around you are carrying invisible burdens, waiting for someone to notice, someone to care, someone to act when action matters most. Final image. Devon, Marcus, and Carmen working together in a community center, teaching a new group of kids, the cycle continuing infinitely. You have the power to be that person. Kindness isn't random. It's intentional. It's choosing to see beyond yourself, to act when the world expects you to look away. The screen fades to black with white text. What invisible burden will you help carry today? Share this story. Tag someone who makes a difference in your community. Let's multiply goodness together. Be the person who stops. Be the person who sees. Be the reason someone else believes that tomorrow can be different. Hit that like button if this story moved you. Subscribe to Black Voices Uncut for more stories that restore your faith in humanity. And remember, your kindness could be someone's miracle.
Reality isn't always easy to hear, but that's exactly why we tell it. At Black Voices Uncut, we go beyond the surface, showing what others won't. If you value unfiltered truth, hit like, comment your perspective, and subscribe. Every voice matters, and every truth deserves to be heard.